Hey everybody, before we get started with this episode, as you may know, we've had our Patreon going for a while now, and we've been fortunate enough to be, relatively successful. So we've been sort of accruing Patreon money for the past couple months, and you might be wondering what are our plans for it? What are we doing with all that money? Well, we bought a helicopter, got helicopter lessons for Joe. I mean, this is just so that we can get a bird's eye view of the situation, so we can really see what's going on. So, without further ado, why don't we kick it over up to Joe in the old whirly bird. How's it looking, Joe?
Sucks ass, Tom.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's a podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery, anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got one patron that we got to thank, especially given that their patronage was what put us over the line in being able to afford our new helicopter.
We got there and we opened our wallets and they were counting it. And they're like, you boys don't have enough.
And $5 showed up.
Yep.
It's Khan. Thank you, Khan.
Thank you.
This is almost certainly, I would bet money that this is a person who was previously a patron that we thanked on this show, who then canceled their pledge for financial reasons, understandable, and is now re-pledged. And as we've said in the past, you get thanked twice if you do that. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, why would we not honor people who come crawling back after they stabilize their financial situation? That makes them a hero.
They're the greatest heroes of all time. Joe, have you noticed that we live in a big corpse? That that the world is just we live in a big dead guy. We're in a big cage of rot constantly. Have you noticed that?
It's kind of grim. It's kind of funny to think how much time I spent doom scrolling, like during the Trump times. It's like quaint almost now.
It was funny because there was a sort of sense of like urgent terror during the Trump years, because it was like at any moment the body of human society will have a dagger plunged into it, and who knows if this will be the one that kills us,
And the problem is there was a dagger already in the back, and we were just looking at the front.
Yeah, shit, it's been dead for so long.
Long.
We were like, maybe if we vote Trump out, we can save the life of civilization. No, it was already a corpse. It's been a corpse. Here's the thing about, like, society. Fuck me.
Sucks ass, Tom.
It sucks ass. There's a social let's just go to the basics. There's, like, people in power, and the sort of implicit social contract is, like, you give us power and wealth, and you get, I don't know, something.
Yeah, stability, treats, things that prolong your life, maybe like healthcare or education.
Perhaps if some horrible disaster occurs, those in power will utilize their great resources so as to prevent your death. This is sort of a basic sort of social contract thing, and if you look throughout history, you'll find there are numerous times when such a agreement has been bought into to the mutual benefit of all parties. That shit, that ain't here. We have to opt into the system, but we got no benefits.
The social contract is you participate and you don't get clubbed then.
Yeah.
Like, we will not club you if you participate, which is not the same as the nice thing we said before.
It's the meme of that guy with the smug look who's tenting his fingers, and it's like, deal proposal. I get all of the resources. You get, I don't kill you with my resources. That's at least American society. That's the big corpse we live in. It's real bad. And Joe, it would be bad if it was like, it'd be one thing if it was just like, dang, it's so sad that we live in the big corpse world and all of our institutions are fundamentally illegitimate and do not even begin to come close to performing the function that they are publicly supposed to be for. That would be pretty bad. But what's even worse is that this corpse-like death rot is spreading to people, Joe. And it allows us, the anime sickos, to flex our incredible muscles of coming up with a great, funny term that explains a phenomenon that you may have seen in a way that makes it sort of pop into view in your brain when it was previously in the periphery. Because you may notice that a bunch of fucking guys posting online have something that we like to call corpse brain.
Corpse brain. That's when you are saying things that hide the fact that we're in a corpse and acting like it's the rules of the corpse are fine. They're natural.
It's people who think it's all still happening, like actually all this stuff is happening still. They go up to the big machine, they turn the crank, they press the big on button, they pour a bunch of valuable fuel into the fuel port, less and less fuel every day, and then they go to the big output slot where the result comes out. Nothing comes out. Yeah. And they're just like, it's working.
It's working because the machine is making a lot of noise.
And you're just like, that's just gas escaping. That's corpse gas. Can you not smell? Are you not nauseated by this horrible smell? I'm puking now. And they're just like, it's working. It's working. Good morning, Sunday morning.
This is also, unfortunately, like how remember to vote becomes funnier every passing day.
Remember to vote becomes funny because it's pretty clear that the biggest havers of corpse brain are the corpse kings of our horrible government, the Democrats. See, for example, I think the sort of platonic ideal of corpse brain is fucking Nancy Pelosi saying
her job is mostly to her job is mostly to go around and say, like, I wish the Republican Party was stronger. I wish they knew Kaioken. I want them to go to King Kai's planet and undergo special training. She will not shut up about how there needs to be a good, strong Republican Party. And it was funny the first time. And then she's now said it like 1,000 times.
It's her favorite thing to say. She said it once is too many. She said it so many fucking times. We need a strong Republican. This country needs a strong Republican Party. Corpse brain. This is a brain that has not functioned in 100 years. It is, Joe, you know what it's like?
It's like the Washington Generals demanding the Globetrotters bring a ladder onto the court.
It's a cancer patient who's about to die being like, what I need more than anything is a big, huge tumor that hasn't metastasized. It's like, no, you don't understand. You'd be better off with no tumor. Don't you get it? No, she doesn't fucking get it.
And she does qualify it a little bit. She will say stuff like the Republicans of the before times cared about, like, the environment, which, what she is incorrectly... What she is thinking of is the fact that Nixon created the EPA. The issue is she has no sense of time because she's 400 years old, so she thinks that was yesterday.
Yeah. She thinks it happened last year. And this really puts into perspective one of the main symptoms of corpse brain, which is, what can a corpse not do? Anything. And one of the things that a living person would be able to do would be to react to stimuli. When things occur, they would sort of note that they occurred and react to them. People with corpse brain, they will see shit happen in front of them, and nothing in their minds will change. Another case in point is fucking all the shit that's going on with the court system in this country being exclusively peopled by orcish ghouls who love pain, who will just throw out, I don't know, legal opinions about how Roe v. Wade is now overturned, where the legal justification is he, I win, he, you lose, I'm the king. And all these corpse-brained folks on Twitter are just like, well, actually, that's not constitutional.
Constitutional law has always been fake, but it's especially fake and gets more faker every time because, I'm not a legal scholar. I'm actually the only person on Twitter who's not a lawyer. But it seems to me the way the sausage is going to get made is that I believe it's the Fifth Circuit is the one that gets nut with it. And the Fifth Circuit court will just do crazy rulings, which will then get kicked up automatically to a sympathetic Supreme Court.
Yeah, Alito will be like, well, the Fifth Circuit is right. He, I win. It's true. It's true.
And the truth is, I don't expect them to rubber stamp everything, but I believe they're going to, basically keep all the awful shit, but shape it so it seems more legitimate and less wacky, and that's going to be the game from now on.
Yeah,
it's going to be it's a little conveyor belt. Fifth Circuit to Alito, and then we find out that gay marriage is over.
It's a nightmare. We live in a corpse society that does not function at all. However, again, as we've said, it would be pretty bad if that was it. But what's even worse? Well, it's not worse. It makes it worse. Clearly, that's the worst part, is the hell world. But one of the things that makes it adding insult to injury is every time some shit like that happens, you're going to find 100 corpse-brained liberals who say, what are you moaning about? You have to vote. Have you ever heard about something called separation of powers? Like, if you see people being like, Joe Biden, you're fucking useless. This is a Democratic administration. All this shit is happening under you. This is your fault. I do not want to hear about, ever heard of separation of powers? It's like, what planet do you live on? When did your brain die that you think this shit is real?
Why are you bragging about the rules your enemies aren't following? It's very upsetting. I screenshot this exchange on Twitter because I was like, this is that corpse brain I've been hearing about. This was the exchange. The January 6th hearings are starting next month. Some gloom may be warranted, but I haven't given up yet. First of all, you're fucked, dude.
Yeah, that's corpse brain, right? If you think January 6th is something that is still happening, it's because your brain died on January 6th and it's just rotting in that state forever. And corpse brain. You just can't let it go because your corpse dead brain is fundamentally unable to change at all ever again.
Someone rightfully replied, January 6th was 17 months ago. Original poster said, Watergate took several years to reach this point. What would you have had happen instead?
That's okay. What would you have happen instead is if someone ever says shit like that, you're talking to a dead person. This is a corpse-brained individual.
Yes.
It's like if I went to the zoo and I was looking around and I'm like, all these animals look sick as hell. I think they're feeding them the wrong food. What I don't want to happen is my fucking fellow zoo goer to look at me and give me like a scoffing face and be like, yeah, well, what would you feed them? And it's like, I don't know. The right food? Like, Why do I have to know the answer?
In the political sense, my answer is just anything with urgency. Anything. Just anything that reflects the level of urgency. And there is no urgency, which is what's so maddening about this, because it also contrasts very heavily with the urgency of the fundraising emails, which is like, I am crying and shitting right now. You have to save me from dying of shit.
Well, Joe, the thing about urgency is that it requires your body to function, which cannot happen if you are a corpse. So I don't know. You keep waiting. It's not going to happen. I want to finish this exchange because the final post on this thread is making me. It's making me feel some feelings. So the person who initially said January 6th was 17 months ago replies to what would you have had happen instead. Watergate took a long time too. Says Watergate didn't involve a literal coup.
Good point, guy. Good point. And then this third corpse guy shambles onto the scene.
Oh my God. What do they say, Joe? What do they say?
And they say, yes, it could have been sooner, but this way it'll be more in the voters' minds on election day.
Kill me. I don't... What? Voters' minds? Okay, two things insane about this. One, just the implication that voting matters. I think we've put that to fucking bed with the fact that it is a Democratic administration, and all of this is happening still.
Whose principal agenda, whose namesake agenda, was stopped by a member of their own party.
Yes. You have to be a corpse brain person to think that voting can still work. You have to have had your brain die at some point in the past when you didn't know yet that it was useless, and you've just been unable to update your fucking firmware. Your brain has just been steadily becoming more and more rotten meat in your stupid fucking head. And the second thing that's insane about this is, and I love this, the fucking the lib fucking journalist tribe on Twitter loves to do this, which is to assume that the political decisions of the electorate at large are like are one, coherent, and two, informed by like these chess move type things where it's like, I just heard in the news that the Democrats have uncovered some secret texts by Ginny Thomas about January 6th, a thing that I fucking forgot about. And it's like, no, nobody will ever base their vote on this.
Like, if you understand how it's bad, all they're just doing is like showing you more evidence of that the thing that you know is bad is that bad. Like, the fact those texts are crazy, like, objectively. Like, we're not minimizing that they're not, like, oh, yeah, they're whatever. No, they're deranged, okay? I think one of the most deranged parts of the Ginny text is that her signature was about how this was sent on an iPhone, which was made by capitalism. Like, that is a... That alone would be enough to make me worried, but
like... If I know that January 6th is bad, being shown in 2022 some new evidence about how bad it was is like, that makes it worse. You not understand how that makes it worse? Because like every day they're like, hey, here's more and more reason we should take action against these criminals.
And then
sentence
like
over.
And here's the thing: if you could remove all of the human suffering from the inaction would be kind of funny, because it's just like, here comes the train, and like, I'm not moving. I'm gonna lay down, actually.
I mean, how could they have action? Show they're corpse brained. There's no action requires a living body. They can't do that.
We started getting a little taste of election talk again because the primaries just happened for, some states. You got to read a bunch of opinions about why Connor Lamb lost to John Fetterman. And the answer is John Fetterman looks like a Urukai. Like, it's cool. Like, it's cool that he's an orc. It's awesome. And, like, that's all there is to it. What else is there? I saw a post that was like, yes, he won, but not for the reasons you think he did, which is the worst shit in the world.
It's corpse brain. It's corpse brain. I mean, here's the thing that all Democrats, all corpse brain Democrats have. If you were to like go up to them and were like, do you agree that the world today exists as it is? They'd be like, no, we don't. Like Jen Fetterman wins because he's like, hey, I think that like everyone wants weed to be legalized. Yeah, and they're like, yeah. People are like, yeah, we do. It's well known. The polling is out there. And he's like, yeah, me too. And it's like, that's all you need to do. That's the sign of a fucking brain with a spark of life in it. To be able to be like, oh, actually things are different now and I should react to that.
The weed issue in general polls very high everywhere, and it's like an option they refuse to use.
Yeah. Like there was some fucker on the CNN, I think it was Chris Wallace, the fucking refugee from Fox News, was saying like Fetterman, you know, he won the primary, but I don't like his chances in the general because of unpopular opinions like legalizing weed. And it's just like, where'd you get that from, buddy? Like, where'd you get unpopular from? It's from your corpse brain because it is like it's objectively popular.
Yeah, you would say that if you have not updated your thoughts in 30 years.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, and there's like a lot of fucking powerful people who are corpse brained, obviously. And that's quite bad. But I think like what's really devastating is that they walk among us. Like people you know have the corpse brain. Like a lot of people on Twitter with like 100 followers, your low-B colleagues have the corpse brain. They walk among it. We thought zombie movies were a stupid fad, and we were right.
They were. They're bad.
But they also were foretelling a grim portent.
Okay, yeah. Here's another example of corpse brain. So we're recording this on May 21st. Elon Musk showed his dick in space.
He said, "You can have a horse for my dick."
Yeah. And Amy Westervelt says, the political attacks have commenced, I see. For the record, these sorts of stories have been around for a decade or more, well before the last-ditch I'm a Republican now because the Democrats are too mean effort. Raise your hand if you covered Tesla for any stretch of time and got tips about this sort of thing on the reg. I know I did back around 2010-ish.
Now, I don't know about you. I have a living brain. I am not a corpse person. If I were, I don't know, handed a handful of red hot coals, I would go, this person brags that they did not.
She's bragging about sitting on this information. I don't know how to read this. One, she's sort of proud that she had enough importance that this information got to her. Mm-hmm. There is a little bit of that in that statement.
Yeah, there's a little bit of clout here. Like, I was important enough to know the inside scoop.
Which I did not share. Even though the whole journalism thing, it seems like you want as many people as possible to read your shit.
Mm-hmm. And, like, even if it's like our lawyers didn't want to take the risk thing, like, isn't that what, like, anonymous gossip blogs are for? Like, I know that they have that with, like, celebrities, like, so-and-so seen canoodling with this person at the fucking French Laundry or what have you. Like, do something. Don't just be like, damn, that rich guy is doing a ton of sex crime. And I know. Anyway, it's like, who are you? Like, are you a living person? What is happening to you?
And if you were getting those tips and you ultimately were not able to move on them for fear of retaliation or legal reasons or whatever, personally, I would not tell everyone that you had them and didn't do anything. I would have just shut up about it.
If you have to say something, like, have it be like a tearful confession. Like, I'm so sorry I failed all the women who were harmed in the intervening 12 years. 12 years! Jesus Christ. Another credible example of corpse brain that we saw lately was from our good friend Lil Homie Gay Ass, otherwise known as Pete Buttigieg.
We call him that because Obama did in his book.
Yeah, Obama told us to. I'm just following directions.
Obama said Pete will never be president because he's too short and gay. And frankly, it's kind of funny to hear him be that explicit, I guess.
Yeah. There were many, many tweets that said, "Oh, let me be clear. No one will vote for little homie Gay Ass."
It's so amazing to me that after Bush left office, people were like, you're not going to be able to do impersonations of Obama because the formula is you just say, let me be clear, and then you say some stupid shit. Like, that's how you do the impression.
Did you see? Oh, there was a video of like a squid, like a color-changing squid, that when the person lifted it out of the water, it went clear, went see-through, and then when they put it in the water, it turned black. And someone quote tweeted it with, let me be clear. Because when it became clear. Do you get it?
Yes, I do. I do. I've also seen Let Me Be Queer. That was good too.
Let me be clear. If you can get a cop's gun, you can keep it. That's one of your favorites. You would tell me that all the time when we were first hanging out.
Yeah. Yes.
Fuck, speaking of Bush, I know we're getting away from what little homie Gay Ass did. We'll get back to it. Speaking of Bush, though, man, he was easy to do an impression of, and he's really reminded us why lately, with his latest, just absolutely gutting gaffe. Like, one of the more cruel gaffes that you could possibly have. It's cruel because it's so funny.
It was vaudeville shit. Like, he came out on stage, and all he had to do was, like, say, whatever you do, don't say you love doing the Iraq War.
Don't say that you belong in prison for doing the huge crime. And he goes up there, and he's like, my fellow Americans, I really hate when one man makes a unilateral decision launch an unjustified and brutal campaign of terror against Iraq. Oh, wait, I mean Ukraine. Ha, ha, ha.
And then everyone laughed, though. Everyone laughed. Like everyone was like, oh, that's our guy.
Here's the thing, Joe. People are saying that the laughter is like a sign of the rot. It's like these people, they laugh at the fact that they're getting away with their war crimes. And I get that sort of impulse, but don't try to pretend like if you were in that room, you would not be fucking cackling. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just like too on the nose. Yeah. Like, it just seems like a gaffe that is too... It's such a sniper-focused gaffe, it doesn't seem possible.
It's like it's from a sketch. Where, like, we have 3 pages of this sketch.
That sketch would be bad too. if if that was what happens in the sketch.
But like, you get what I mean. Where it's like we only get like 5 jokes in this sketch. Like, we need to make them absolutely on the nose. No, like playing around and being and coy with it. No,
we need to yell to the cheap seats.
Exactly. That's what it felt like. Anyway, back to Lil Homie Gay Ass. Pete Buttigieg said, you may have noticed or heard about that there's a big shortage of baby formula in the United States right now. It's extremely difficult for people to get baby formula to feed their infant children. And it's not because there was like some great natural disaster that prevented it from being made or distributed. Joe, what happened?
No, they just... took the money that they were supposed to use to clean out the tanks to prevent rancid baby formula, and they just used it for other stuff.
Yeah. There's been a lot of articles stating, like, well, the issue is babies are not a very profitable demo. It is stupid to invest in them. And so the company didn't. The company is actually smart for causing this. Anywho, our buddy, Pete, once again, Little Homie Gay Ass, he said this. I'm going to quote this. This is a quote. Let's be very clear. And okay, I didn't even realize he began with that. It's very funny that Obama dubbed him Lil Homie Gay Ass, an extremely devastating name. And now he's biting his style. He's trying to bite Obama's style, let me be clear. I can't believe this. All right, let's be very clear. This is a capitalist country. The government does not make baby formula. These next three words are, they should be flashing red in your mind. Nor should it. Companies make formula. And one of those companies messed up and is unable to confirm that a plant, a major plant, is safe and free of contamination.
You know what's fucked up about that statement is that the government can intervene without making baby formula. It's not like the only option here is that the government makes like a state supply of baby formula. The government could just do anything to help this along. Anything.
Like, it's been pointed out that there was a similar scandal in China years ago where a company knowingly put out tainted baby formula. And, you know, there's a lot to be said about, like, the draconian nature of the Chinese government.
But they made all those guys take the Hunter exam.
Yeah, they fucking killed them. They executed them. Like, the C-suite died because the government killed them for hurting babies. And, I mean, do I agree with that? I don't know. I think it might be a little severe, but it's definitely better than the corpse-brained reaction, which is, and nothing, which is what we're doing. This brings up another thing. Now, I've talked about this a lot. Actually, I don't remember if I ever did. I was going to say I talked about this shit a lot at The Skewer, my old live show. But it may be that I just wanted to write about it and I never got around to it. And it's something that has occurred to me as I've become more politically aware, which is, what's the point of the United States? Like, what's the point of the country? There isn't one because it's a big dead corpse and it can't do anything. But let's really, you know, in a perfect world, what would be the point of a country? Like, what does it do? Like, why is it there? Why is anyone in Washington, D.C.? Like, why are there judges and legislators? Like, why are they, like, literally why? I'm not asking as a joke or as a gotcha. Like, what's the point of them? Like, really, what is it? Because you'd think that it would be, like, so that people can be alive better and easier. And so we're in a situation where fucking little babies are starving because they don't have any food. And the reaction by the fucking government is, we will, like, let me be clear, your government, which you voted for and that we'd like you to vote for again, will not help you. We will not feed the babies. You will not have it in your mind that we helped feed your babies. Your babies will be starving still. And we're down with that.
The press secretary, when asked about this, was like, call the pediatrician. They'll know what to do. And it's like, your doctor is going to also not have any baby formula. Like, that is such a sad thing to suggest to a parent who is freaking out about this.
Like, the corpse-brained libs who were defending this were like, well, why are you getting so mad at him? He's just telling it like it is. And I would like to orient your attention to the three flashing red words, nor should it. The government does not make baby formula, nor should it. He's saying, we will not help. Like, not only am I saying the solution to the problem of not enough baby formula is that the company that made the problem happen should fix the problem. And I really hope they get around to it soon. But, like, nor should it is just like, we will not help. We refuse to help. We will not do it. And, like, we will not do anything is the big refrain of the corpse we live in. Because there's nothing a corpse can do. It already died.
There's also this issue, this new tool, I guess, that helps reinforce not doing anything, which is because inflation is bad right now. Any action on any front, you can just point at that and be like, that's going to cause inflation, regardless of reality or not. You don't say that about like a creeping military budget. You don't say that about anything else. But now that's going to be a cudgel used against everything for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Like, remember how there was a big whole summer of like record-breaking protests against police violence, and like a lot of people really wanted there to be a fundamental shift in policing in this country, up to and including abolitioning.
They wanted less bodies killed.
Yeah, not an unpopular position. Now, I don't know. I don't think it would be crazy for people who are able to do something about it to see that and be like, yeah, okay, we'll do something about it. However, corpse brain happy rises again, and Nancy Pelosi, who died in fucking 1930 and has just been shambling on ever since, tries to fucking bring up the file for police in the fucking rotten meat pudding that is her awful brain, and it says, "We love them," and she's like, "Well, we love them. More money for them. More money for them." And it's just like, okay. So what you're saying is all protests will cause the opposite to occur, and that really does feel like that. Like, how could it not? Because in order for a protest to be effective, the person who the protest is targeted at needs to have a brain that reacts to stimulus. These people do fucking not.
The answer to everything will be that we should hire more cops.
Yes.
Every single problem that we face and will face will be answered by more policing. What's going to happen when climate change gets worse? We're going to hire more cops. What's going to happen when the homelessness problem, as bad as it is now, gets even worse? Hire more cops.
What are we going to do when the nation balkanizes and the states start to break away from each other? Oh, the cops are going to become the army.
Yes, and we'll hire more of them. It's really grim. It's just fucking grim. There's a real, like, Margaret Thatcher, she sucks, to be clear. Boo her. But she had a quote that was, "There's no such thing as society." What that meant is that there's only individualism. And the thing is, she was right about that, but she was right about that in the way that, like, Babe Ruth points to the stains before he hits a dinger. Like, she was calling her shot. And there is a world now that conforms to that quote very clearly. She won.
I hate it. Yo, this sucks. This isn't super related to what we're talking about. I just want to talk about this because this made me mad. I guess it's kind of related because it has to do with Corpse World. When Elon Musk, prior to being exposed as the big sex pervert, I also saw someone point out, like, if he's paying $250,000 to everyone he's assaulting to shut them up, he potentially has enough money to sexually assault 875,000 people. Anyway, and also cover it all up. But prior to that, he was just like, the Democrats are now the party of hate. And he was able to say that within 1 week of a fucking murdering teenager walking into a grocery store, reciting the fucking platform of any Republican politician's campaign website, word for word, and then shooting all the people in a race massacre. He was able to say that, and no one sort of, like, call him out on it. Not in a way that matters. But what was even worse is that some people were like, well, actually, you know, haha, laugh while you can, Elon, because with all this shady stuff going on with your Twitter bid and your shady financial whatnots, the SEC is gonna get you. They're gonna get you, and they're gonna bring the hammer down on you, you smug little man. And then, like, the next day, the Orc Court was like, the SEC is now illegal.
They
can't
banged
be.
their drums with femurs, and then the decree was heard.
Yeah.
They said every single thing that happens at the SEC has to go to a jury trial. Like, no more levying fines. Everything has to happen individually as a trial. So obviously, you've effectively defanged everything.
Yeah, the legal justification, of course, was he, we win, he. Which, that's how it's going to be from now on. You read these opinions, it's just like, you know what? I win. I just decided that I win. I'm the judge and I win. So that's that. Have you heard of something called separation of powers? You can't stop me. Oh, it's so bad. It's just like, what it was? It was some people being like, well, don't worry. There's one living arm of the government that may still twitch as some neurons fire before it dies. And then, no, it just got stabbed and it died, and now it's even deader than the rest. It makes me so mad.
Yes, and that SEC ruling will get kicked up to the Supreme Court, and it's going to get massaged into something, I don't want to say more palatable, because it'll be just as evil, but it's going to basically get tweaked in a horrible way that's probably going to make it more expansive of a ruling that sucks more.
And if you try to protest, if you go to these people's homes and yell, I don't like that, stop doing that, all of the Democrats are going to, in their corpse brains, try to fucking rifle through their files, all covered with rotten meat juice, and they'll find the file that says Supreme Court Justices Houses. And they're going to open the file up, and it's going to say, nobody's outside of this house. And they're going to look and see people outside of the house. And they're going to go, ah! And it's going to be that forever, folks. Oofa doofa.
Rahm Emanuel, who sucks for sure, he had people outside his house yelling all the time. All the time. There were people always protesting outside of his house in Ravenswood Manor. And I'm just saying that was not seen as something too far. That was just a reality. There were always people outside his house yelling for multiple reasons. Many of them were because he closed a bunch of schools and turned them into loft apartments, which is just fucking awful. But that was not considered like a breach of decorum. It was like, you're mayor, you're doing stuff, people are going to yell at you.
I will say, though, it's very funny in retrospect, given how roundly hated he was by all demos, except, of course, like orcs and ghouls who love anyone who's evil. That's, a given. Given how hated he was, it really is kind of funny how much commitment he had towards constantly being out in public and shaking people's hands.
He rode the train, dude. He was always riding the train. That fact seems crazy to me now. He tried to shake my hand at the Sheridan stop when I lived over there, and I was like, oh, who's this very tired, scary guy? Because he's very short, and the bags under his eyes are terrifying.
Lori Lightfoot couldn't take the train because people would step on the hem of her huge pants, and she couldn't get off in time.
And that's another example. It's like Rahm had people yelling outside of his house. He had a single squad car, usually on detail, at his home. Contrast that with Lori Lightfoot, who has basically militarized her block of Logan Square.
I remember I used to live not close to her, but closer. And I was doing that summer, I was doing regular 5K runs. I was trying to get further. I didn't really have the stick-to-itiveness to like really get into it, but I was doing regular 5K runs. And the route I took me pretty close to her house. And I could tell when they thought there was going to be a protest because I would just be running and I would have to make a huge detour because they were putting up a ton of fucking barricades in the middle of the day. And I'm like, this is, I don't like this. This is bad.
And it's not in front of her house. It's like the block.
Yes. Like my route went like 4 blocks away from where she lived. It was near the Ibaritos y Mas Ibaritos store. Which, Ibaritos kick ass, dude. Have you ever had one of those? Oh,
it's
man.
like one of the better kinds of sandwiches.
Oh, man. I used to, in my old apartment, I lived by this place named Corelli's, which I don't know where that name came from and how it's Cuban. It's a Cuban sandwich shop. And they wouldn't always have this. But when they did, the Ropa Vieja Jibarito, oh my God, like, man, now I'm thinking about that. I can't think of anything else. I've totally lost my train of thought. I'm thinking about Ropa Vieja Jibarito. Jesus
You were
Christ.
saying you were running and you saw them making Fortress Lori.
I don't give a fuck about that anymore. I want to talk about Jibaritos. Oh, well.
So what we're trying to say here is don't let your brain die. Keep it alive. Keep that brain alive.
Everything in society is funneling you towards corpse brain. It really helps everyone out if you experience total brain death. It's what they want for you. Do not let it happen. That said, please do not interpret what we have just said to be like, you should be a free thinker. Because free thinker... That is an awful...
If someone introduces themselves as a free thinker, I'm like, okay, this guy is a sovereign citizen. Yeah. They have some very cool opinions about the shape of the earth.
My wife and I watched the pretty terrible, but terrible in a fun way, Poirot movie that came out this year. And one of the funny things about it is that it is the most absolutely cursed cast of any movie that you can imagine. One of the cursed people in it is Russell Brand, who if you're not aware of, he has rebranded himself as a free thinker. And when I was trying to explain to my wife like what he does now, I'm like, well, I don't really know. He's like a free thinker. He's sort of he's like right adjacent. I don't know if he's really right wing. Here's actually a good way to think about it. All free thinkers, the first step on their journey is always wokeism is ruining everything. So, and then like any journey you take where that is the first step is fucked. So that's what a free thinker is.
That's the woke mind virus that has been a repeated refrain from Musk. That should be a red flag too. It's just like everything I dislike is woke. You can just throw that out there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean anything, but what it does is it signals to the right people that like that's the enemy, which should be scary to many people, because it's certainly scary to me, because you have like this little tag you can put on things to like send your dudes at.
Yeah. I remember when he did his I'm actually a Republican now thing, people were like, ha ha, he must be getting ahead of some story, ha ha ha. What a moron. And I'm like, well, actually, I agree with you that he's a moron, but this is like objectively the savviest move he can make. This is probably the smartest thing he's ever done, because he'll get away with it. Like, yes. He has determined, like, well, there's one bit of society, the ghoul orcs, who love evil, who are still alive. They still have brains that function. I will simply tell them, you have to defend me. Yes. And then I win, because, like, well, there's no offense. There just isn't offense. And he has the strongest orcs on the planet playing defense for him. So he wins. Like, he's never going to pay for his fucking sex crimes.
He absolutely has the best PR army on the planet. He's cultivated an amazing cult of personality. Like, his cars blow up, and there's videos of them exploding. And then there's, like, people being like, all cars do that. And...
Like, if you were a rando guy, if you were a rando person on the street and you haven't been, like, looking into things, it is not unreasonable that your sort of base assumption of, like, what's Elon Musk? Who is he? What's his deal? Is like, oh, he's like a genius inventor, which is a total fiction. And yet, like, it's the baseline. Like, if you aren't looking into it, like, you're going to think that. And it's not your fault. But it's like, oh, fuck.
It's pretty clear he's not going to buy Twitter, but it doesn't matter because a solid 20% of the globe will just believe he owns Twitter now.
I love some fucking evil congressperson, some Republican monster. When there was like some complication to the sale that had just come up, and he was like, he quote tweeted it and was like, yes, I thought shadow banning had started again, which so fucking funny.
Sure, fine, yeah, okay.
The concept of shadow banning is the funniest shit in the world because there's so many layers to it. Because one, just the idea that like there's a clandestine mission to make people like your posts less. One, that anyone would care enough to do that. Two, that you are like paying attention to your likes per post that much. And three, that it could never occur to you that your posts suck ass. Like it could never be that.
And there's also the corollary there, which is I deserve and am owed a huge audience for all my posts. Like that's what's also nestled in that statement.
Yes. It's the fuck. Is this a Chapo bit about like how the Republicans want to make it illegal for your grandchildren not to call you?
Yeah, I think that would have been
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
that sort of same impulse.
Yeah, it's like there is like some algorithm censoring and stuff, but it's done on a huge scale that we can't comprehend. It's not like no more Ted, no more him.
Yeah, no, what it is when I reply to a fucking senator being like, please eat shit, sir, I hope you vomit on the shit, like...
Now Twitter says a lot of people don't post like that. Are you sure you want to post that?
What it's telling me is like, you are a free thinker who's really innovating. People don't usually get this nutty with it. You're really incredible. Keep going. Honestly, innovate more. That's how I read it. It encourages me more than anything.
It is alarming the way free thinking, as like, okay, as a neutral term, without all the baggage we just described, is now owned as a right thing.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very scary place to be.
One way you can keep your brain alive without fucking it up, and I think that I want to. I'm gonna do this later today. In fact, I'm walking the walk. You gotta watch some anime, and when you're done, be like, "That sucked." That's the way.
Yeah, you gotta play roguelikes. You gotta play roguelikes a lot. It's like it cleanses your brain.
Yes, it keeps it alive.
It's like an enema for your head. It's really, very important. The roguelikes don't have to be farming based, but I just gotta say, Atomic Crops hits really good lately.
Fucking glow up of the year, dude. Like 2 years ago, you wrote in the newsletter, like, Atomic Crops, it's pretty good. I don't know. I played it a couple times. And like the last 2 months, like every time I've tried to talk to you, you're like, give me a minute in the middle of Atomic Crops.
It's true. And I think I've realized what it is I'm just a sucker for a game where you switch between doing two things. Like if you made a big, crazy arcade cabinet that on one side was StarCraft, and then the way you collected Vespian gas is that you had to turn to your left and play Time Crisis, that would be the best game that's ever fucking made.
Man, I wanted you to say skee ball so bad.
No, Time Crisis.
Okay, fair enough. Fuck. That's all the time we got for Anime Sickos. Next time will be sillier.
Yeah, we're feeling the crushing weight of the world a little bit.
Yeah, we're going through it. I mean, we're like, what's a fun, like, it's been a long time since we've done like a so-and-so brain or a real life devil fruit. We have to identify a pathology in the soul of the nation, and like the pathology that we came to when we looked at the data. The only conclusion we could come to is these people all have corpse brains. They're the living dead, and they walk among us. Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah. You used to have to wear the They Live glasses. Not anymore. You don't need them anymore.
They're like, hello, I am one of the They Live aliens. That is my thing. Anyway, yes, I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an anime sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.